Is a Fast and Furious crossover with Jurassic World possible? Are we gonna see Vin Diesel, The Rock riding some T-Rexes on top of Mustangs? Is that what's gonna happen? We also got some news on Spider-Man 3's No Way Home potentially getting into the multiverse. A lot to cover today, so let's get going. Welcome to episode 19 of the podcast, please, and thank you for the all-inclusive podcast where we include all the words and all the topics that you care about. A lot going on this week. We got the Jake Paul fight thingy that was going on. Apparently, I don't know much about the UFC because I thought some YouTuber guy or some celebrity dude that hasn't fought that much before would get into a fight with someone that is experienced, even though he's a wrestler. Someone that's experienced would just kick his ass with absolutely, almost at least, no effort. Turns out I was wrong. So I guess I don't know much about the sports. So maybe sports isn't something that I should cover in this channel ever. Because if I was a betting man, I would have bet against Jake Paul. And I would have lost quite a bit of money because I thought it would have been a guarantee. I would have thrown my savings. I would have thrown like everything that I had. Anyway, I want to talk about the Fast and Furious potentially crossing over with the Jurassic World. That sounds so ridiculous, so insane that I just really want to talk about it. According to CNET's Jennifer Bissett, director Justin Lin attended a virtual press conference where he entertained the idea of the franchise crossing over to Jurassic World. Well, I've never said never to anything, Lin says at the press conference on whether he'd handle a crossover, and the fact that part of our philosophy is not to ever be boxed in or labeled, and that's all I will say. Universal Studios is the home of both Fast and Furious flicks and the Jurassic Park films. Michelle Rodriguez, who plays Letty in the High Octane franchise, could see the brand merge working. She says, "Once you reach a certain pinnacle, there's nowhere to go but to cross-brand and merge. It's what big corporations do with each other when they get too big. You know what I mean?" She said, "You just have to brand and merge with each other, but the only thing standing in the ways is lawyers and studios, because usually the brands that you're trying to merge belong to different studios or whatever, but it's under the same umbrella. I don't know, I'm just saying it works." So ladies and gentlemen, someday that means that we could see the Vin Diesels and The Rock and Jason Statham or the Ludacris and the whole crew go into an island filled with dinosaurs. I've been thinking about what the plot would be for this, and I've been thinking about it for quite a bit, and here's what I think they could do, and I really think this could work. They need to have some sort of villain, someone they've had before, maybe Charlize Theron, make her come back again. I don't know, did she die in the previous one? I'm not sure, I can't really keep track. I don't think she did. She escaped from what I remember. So bring her back, because she was great. Bring her back, put her in an island that's like surrounded by dinosaurs, okay? CIA/FBI, the US military, all that, they figure out that Charlize Theron is in this island and she's planning a nuclear attack of some sorts, okay? And for some reason, instead of throwing the FBI, the CIA, or the US military, they're saying, no, we need a team with a specific set of skills. And we need Vin Diesel and The Rock and their A-team. We need them to bring their A-game, and we need to send them over to the Jurassic Island or the Jurassic World or the Jurassic Park area. So they send them in, not alone, they send them in with their cars, because it's not a Fast and Furious movie if you don't have at least some sort of car involvement. So the entire Fast and Furious team needs to go into this mysterious island. So they all land into this island with their cars, with their Mustangs, with their Lamborghinis, with their Ferraris and all that. And they're driving around with their cars and they're looking for Chris Pratt, because Chris Pratt is part of the Jurassic World. So they're looking for Chris Pratt, and then they see this mysterious van heading towards them. And the van drifts towards them. Chris Pratt comes out of the car, and Chris Pratt is like, "Need a lift?" And the camera zooms in on The Rock, zooms in on Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel smirks, and he's looking at the van, and he notices that Chris Pratt is not the one driving the van. No, you see, Chris Pratt invented this technology to control the raptors. Because you remember in the first one, and probably in the second one too, Chris Pratt figured out a way to be one with the Raptors, to be a part of the Raptor crew, right? So in this one, he's not only part of the Raptor crew, but he invented some sort of technology that's able to mind control the dinosaurs, even the T-Rexes, to make the T-Rexes part of their crew. So now Chris Pratt is in the passenger seat, and the person that's driving isn't even a person. It's a freaking raptor. That's right. Chris Pratt teaches the Raptors how to drive. So you see the Raptor driving, and no one ever questions how the Raptor's even in the car, given its body shape, how it's able to drive, given its hands, how it's even able to push the pedals. No one questions that, because it's a Fast and Furious movie. You don't need logic in this shit. Okay, you just do whatever you want. You throw cars from one building to the next. No one really cares how shit happens. As long as it's entertaining, that's what really matters. So you have this incredible scene where it's Vin Diesel, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, Chris Pratt are all in a van, are all in a car that is super fast somehow, that's getting driven by a raptor. And you hear this AC/DC music kick in the background, and it's just like, and they're all just driving through the island and shit, and there's people shooting at them, and who knows, maybe the van has like a bunch of guns, and it's just the Raptor knows all the mechanics of the van and can shoot all these like villain people, like, you know, the crew members of the villain, of Charlize Theron, because, you know, she's not gonna be there alone planting the nuclear bomb. She's gonna have like a whole crew there for the Fast and Furious team to kill, so that it can be an entertaining movie. That's what I think the premise should be. I think this whole thing should happen in like the first 10 minutes too, and they should figure out a way for Vin Diesel and The Rock to just start mind controlling the dinosaurs. That would be pretty cool. But they need to have some rules with the technology. It can't just, you know, they can't just mind control any dinosaur. There needs to be some rules. Like, for example, the mind control device can only work within, let's say, 20 feet. Okay, so they have to be within 20 feet, within a 20 feet range of a dinosaur, like a raptor or a T-Rex. I don't know what other dinosaurs exist, because those are the only two names that I know. I know there's a lot of other dinosaurs, but that's like the only two names I know. But anyway, so at some point in the movie, throughout the movie, they just ignore that 20 feet rule where they're able to only control dinosaurs within 20 feet. Because if you want to make it fun, if you want to make it a real Fast and Furious movie, you gotta get rid of the rules of those devices. And they can't just control birds and shit from like 100 feet away and shit. And you have this incredible scene at some point where it's Vin Diesel in a Mustang driving while he's on top of a T-Rex that he's mind controlling. That's like the type of shit that you need to see. That's the type of stuff that we need to see in this movie. This needs to happen. This crossover needs to happen. I have a feeling it's gonna happen. If you don't know, by the way, they're sending the Fast and Furious crew to space. That's what they're doing with Fast 9. As far as I know, from the news that I've heard, they're literally gonna send them to space. We're gonna see fast cars driving into space. Is that how it works? Do you drive on space or into space? Or do you drive towards space? I think it's towards. I think that's how the English works. So they're all driving towards space. I don't know why they're going there. Maybe it's like, maybe some villain has some nuke thing in the moon or Mars or something, but they're gonna go to space. So what's next? Where do you go from there? Dinosaurs, man. You go towards the Jurassic World shit. They need to merge these brands. They need to have Vin Diesel driving a T-Rex, and they need to have The Rock driving his own T-Rex. Okay, and they need to get on cars on top of dinosaurs, and they need to also get those raptors driving their own cars. Okay, I want to see a raptor driving a Lamborghini while that Letty chick is in the passenger seat. I don't want to see her drive. I want to see the raptor drive while she's in the passenger seat. She's on her phone. She's just kind of chilling, or maybe give her a gun or two. You know, she's like on the lookout or some shit. This crossover needs to happen. I have never been more excited for a crossover in my life. Like, I thought I was gonna be super excited when they announced the Avengers and X-Men crossover, cause you know that one's coming. But this is on a whole other level. Like, my excitement levels have gone so high, I did not even know they could go that high. As you can see, I'm pretty freaking excited for this crossover, but we got a lot more news to cover. Well, mostly just one more piece of news. So this piece of news comes from cinemablend.com from Adam Holmes. He says Spider-Man 3 No Way Home is gonna bring back the Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, and I'm gonna read the article. So Alfred Molina confirmed his involvement in Spider-Man No Way Home during an interview with Variety. So Molina, that's the guy from the Spider-Man 2, that's the Doc Ock guy. So Molina also noted that when he spoke with director John Watts, the filmmaker told him that Doc Ock's story will continue from that moment in the river, i.e. when it looked like Ock was sinking to his death after stopping his fusion reactor from destroying New York City. So it looks like what happened in Spider-Man 2 is actually going to be canon in Spider-Man 3, which is insane. And there's been a lot of rumors about like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield potentially returning. I don't know if any of those kind of are confirmed or not, but it looks like we're gonna have some sort of multiverse shit going on with Spider-Man. And the original 3 Spider-Man movies, and maybe even the Amazing Spider-Man and the second Spider-Man movie, I think they're all going to be canon, though that's gonna be very tricky to do. If they do the whole multiverse, so it's like this Spider-Man exists but in a different universe thing, I think that's gonna be cool. But they can't really take place in the same New York, you know, because they're gonna notice the New Yorkers. They're gonna notice if there's a different Spider-Man, and not only are they gonna notice, but they also kind of have to acknowledge it. So if they figure out a way where it's like, oh, this Spider-Man was in like a different universe or something, this is gonna be cool. And also, our boy Kevin Feige has at one point said that the multiverse is a thing moving forward, and I think WandaVision was the introduction of this multiverse. So we are going to see more of this multiverse, and hopefully the Spider-Mans is gonna be a big part of the multiverse, and we're gonna be able to see a lot of different versions of Spider-Man, which is similar to how they did it in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse thing. That was super cool how they brought all the Spider-Man characters all in the same movie. Like, I'm hoping they do something similar to that, like get some ideas from the Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know how it's gonna work, but I feel like they can pull it off. If for some reason there's a way where they can bring some villain that's able to transport him or herself throughout all these different universes, and the only way to stop him is to combine all the Spider-Mans that we have to stop this villain, I mean, that sounds like a freaking good time. So that's all the news that I got for today. Thank you guys for joining another episode of the podcast, please. And thank you. This counts as episode 19. I probably should have said that sometime in the beginning. But anyway, thank you guys for joining. Peace out.